were younger on staff, we wanted to have a family, and God made us wait for 7 years to have that family. And during that time, I did a lot of yelling at God and a lot of screaming at God and about the unfairness of it all. But I had to go back to the fact that He is good. And even if it didn't turn out okay, He's good. But then He gave us 4 wonderful boys. I was what they called a regional woman when I became pregnant with Andy. And after a few months stopped traveling, and then he came into our family. Because I had wanted children and we had together wanted a family for so long, that was not a huge transition for me. It was delightful. I loved every minute of it. My husband traveled a lot. He was gone about every other week. And so that had specific challenges, in that I was the one there with the 4 boys. Well, it wasn't always 4 boys. It was increasing from 1, 2, 3, 4 during that whole time period. And it was during that same time period he was traveling that we had those exciting trips overseas. But it was also during that time period that God has been faithful to hold me and keep me. That God enabled me to physically do those things, and He gave me His strength. And then God did bless, though. I felt like it was just a blessing that dropped in on me. While the children were there, I saw my role as being their mother, raising them, but I also saw my role as influencing women wherever I was in the city. And that God didn't just call me to be a mother, He still called me to be His, and for Him to live His life through me wherever. And so to have the blessing of being able to also influence young college women and other young women in the community was great. It's extremely important for the woman in the relationship to know that she too is called by God to be there, and to make choices throughout the years, no matter what the station of life, whether it's little bitty kids or teenagers or in between or after the kids are gone, to make choices not to be isolated, but to remain a part of staff relationships, staff teams. I believe that each person has gifts from God that He's given them, and if she makes the choices to use those, then God will use her greatly.